downtown Minneapolis on Saturday
How was that?
in the morning.
Was that before the game?
Yeah. So we
You
went.
shit face?
Well, I went down to the party bus, and then I.
By the way, I did click start streaming. It says we're offline, but okay, now we're good. But you can continue your story, Drew.
No, I was just saying. I got there on a party bus. We went to a brewery, and then we wanted to eat. So then we walked all the way back to Jimmy John's downtown, and then we walked for a while. But one of my drunk friends was with us, and he couldn't stop chanting, "Let's go Johnny's" in front of whenever there was like a Tommy fan that would walk past us. He would yell at the top of his lungs, "Let's go Johnny's." So that was
college.
That was before or after they got beat?
before.
Oh, okay.
And after though. That's how college works.
Sorry, I'm not
just
trying to rub it in.
Playoff rematch.
Okay. All right, well, we are live. Welcome back to the Vikings Territory Roundtable. I'm Brett Anderson, your host. Tonight I'm joined by the usual suspects down there squinting. That's BJ. Sam is here. We got Sean in the Vikings backwards cap. Representing St. John's University, we got Drew Mahold. And, of course, Austin Bilal up there in the middle, rocking that sweet VT t-shirt. So, as you all know, last Sunday we put a whooping on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people wrote us off because, we didn't have Bradford. So, it was round 2 of Case Keenum at quarterback. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers, people were feeling hot. They came off a win. They were on Hard Knocks, so, people were loving them. They got whooped, though. The game by this point has been recapped at length a number of places on VikingsTerritory.com. About the Labor podcast has some recaps. So instead of doing anything like that here, we're going to take a deeper dive on some talkers to come out of the game. The show is live right now, so hello to everyone that is watching live and in the chat. Feel free to drop.
We got 2 right now. We got 2 live.
Shout out to the 2 people watching live right now. I know we didn't do it right after the game. I was out of town having some technical difficulties, so that's why we're doing the live show tonight. So I apologize for that, but we're here and we're going to be we'll be taking questions in the chat occasionally. We're not going to be taking anyone on the show just because it's not a post-game show. We already got a lot that we're going to try and get through anyway. But anyway, we'd love to have you guys kind of talk along in the chat, maybe drop questions here and there, and BJ will be monitoring that. So let's jump right in. I want to start at quarterback, of course. As we noted just now, Keenum played out of his mind against the Bucs. We got some good news before the game that Bradford doesn't have any major damage to his knee. In fact, it's just a bone bruise is what they're saying. So the expectation is that he's going to be week to week. What are your guys' thoughts on when Bradford's going to be back, and how in trouble are the Vikings if he misses a few more games? We have 3 big division games coming up. So when do you think Bradford will see the field again, and do you think if he doesn't, we're in trouble?
Who are you talking about? Brad? I don't know who that is. Keenum's the man. I say lock Keenum up. Personally, I don't know about any of these other
trade
quarterbacks.
Keenum for a first-round pick. That's what
right.
There you go. I like that strategy.
It's a 3-way QB race now, man. Things just got really interesting. So, Sam, since you chimed in, what are your thoughts?
No, I just think it's interesting how little we've talked about Bradford this week as opposed to last week after Keenum went out there and just set the world on fire against Tampa. So I don't know. I think the Bradford situation is still just wait and see like it was last week. We'll wait and look for news. I think it's obvious that no matter how well Keenum did play or continues to play when Bradford is healthy, the job's his. And we'll go from there. It's nice after the sky was falling last week, and I was definitely a part of that fear-mongering, to be a little more calm after Keenum played out of his mind. Don't expect it every game, but it was nice to see that he could to put the pedal to the metal like that.
So do we think Bradford is starting this weekend?
Yes.
You think? Okay, so Austin says yes. Drew says no. Sam says no. BJ, no. I'm thinking no. So. What about you, Sean?
No.
Yeah, so I don't think he didn't practice today. It's Wednesday. He didn't practice today. They said they're doing the best they can to get him to start by this weekend, but I don't think he starts. So what do you think that means? I mean, we're not previewing the Lions game yet, but do you think Keenum, given the way he played against the Bucs, is capable to do the same thing to the Lions this weekend? BJ?
I I think it really matters. Like Drew and I were talking about this earlier. We think it matters a whole lot about the home field advantage situation. Playing at US Bank Stadium, I think that's a huge benefit to a guy like Case Keenum, who is more of a cerebral quarterback and likes to hear himself think at the line of scrimmage when he's going through progressions and whatnot. So I think that really makes a huge difference for this matchup against Detroit because fortunately the Vikings are still at home again this weekend. So I don't, like Sam just said, I don't expect him to throw for 369 yards like maybe ever again. Like that was kind of a once in a lifetime thing for him, I feel like. And I'm fine with that, but if he can give us 225-ish, keep him honest defensively, let Dalvin do his thing, he continues to get better every single game, I feel like we can get through this. And I feel like Detroit's they're a wobbly enough team where if you catch them on the wrong foot, you can win a game at home. I think that this is an opportunity for the Vikings, but at the same time, without Sam Bradford out there, you can never be too sure.
Where would you guys put the Bucs defense in relation to the Lions defense?
In fairness, they were missing like half their team. Like I'm not letting them use that excuse because our quarterback was out, but when we're speaking in that sense, I don't think that defense was nearly, I think Detroit's defense is far and beyond what we saw from Tampa Bay last week, given that they were missing 3 cornerbacks, Gerald McCoy for some of the game.
They had 4 starters left on defense by the end of the game.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Buccaneers fans. I feel very sorry for them. We all know how that doesn't. Well, yeah, I was gonna say BJ probably doesn't. He was what was going on? BJ just had some animosity on Twitter with some Buccaneers fans.
It's so funny because all I said was I looked at the situation. I thought it was a situation that Laquan Treadwell could shine in. And I had some good objective points for why it made sense. I thought that was pretty fair. I said bold prediction, Treadwell has a good game, and he didn't, which is fine. I'm okay with that, and just bold prediction. That's what they're for. But they didn't like that very much, and they're a very subjective fan base that it seems like they like to black things out. Yeah. If it doesn't feed their agenda. So and I didn't ignore them. I gave in. I gave in to the hate, and I threw it right back at them as hard as I could.
What was Mike Evans trying to say on Twitter today? Like, obviously, he had a temper tantrum on the sideline.
I lost a lot of respect for Mike Evans today.
Which is amazing, right? Because that's what Xavier Rhodes does, is he takes these number 1 receivers, and he completely shuts them down and gets in their head, and they throw fits on the sideline. I really want to know what Xavier Rhodes is saying during these games to do what he's doing.
He was mic'd up. Yeah, there's a mic'd up video of him. Yeah, on Vikings.com.
Oh, I am going to watch that immediately after the show.
On the bench, he's just laughing and saying, "Those roads are closed. Those roads are closed." And laughing because.
He's a Florida State cornerback. That's what they do. They play head games. They're like literally taught at their school to play head games.
So what was Evan saying today? Like the film doesn't lie. The roads weren't closed or something. Or
yeah, but.
Like was he trying to say that he was open and Winston just wasn't seeing him?
My thing is if you lose the game by 17 points and you were a non-factor, just shut up.
And 17 points is like move on. 17 points is closer than it was.
Yeah.
Like they got a garbage time touchdown, some garbage time yards.
Garbage time. He had a few catches of garbage time that didn't matter, and the Vikings just gave him because game's over.
Yeah. Does garbage time bother you guys? Like I know when Austin and I were watching the game together, it's like you want to see the Vikings stats do well, and you just see the defensive numbers, going up and up. I don't know. Sean, does it bother you, like when that happens towards the end of the game, or are you just like, I don't care, we got the W, it doesn't matter?
Depends on who I have going in fantasy, but no, it doesn't bother me at all.
Right. Yeah.
But no, you always want to see like 40 donuts in the Vikings' favor, but it doesn't always work out that way.
I kind of wonder if Zimmer cares, like if he cares about the numbers, or if
I guarantee you he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He can't see him. Why would he care?
Exactly. I joke. Right?
Yeah.
I think it was
I joke.
Good one. Okay. All right. So let's talk about. I want to get Austin's opinion on Teddy, right? Because there was also some news kind of leading up to the game that from some credible sources this time, some big names out there saying basically Teddy's ready to go right now, and week 7 he's definitely going to be ready to go. So how do you guys think that changes the dynamic at quarterback come week 7, Austin?
I don't think it changes it a heck of a lot. I think if Teddy is healthy and Teddy can practice and come back, they're not going to throw him into the fire. I think that's what was reported too, that they're going to be cautious with him and take their time, just like they're being cautious with Sam and taking their time with him. But I don't think anything's changed in terms of Sam, when healthy, being the guy. Because I would imagine if this is just a bone bruise for Sam, he's coming back in a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
And that automatically puts him above Teddy in terms of where he's at, knowledge-wise, scheme-wise, performance-wise. Just because Teddy hasn't practiced for a year, I mean, I can't put them on the same footing just because Teddy's Teddy.
He hasn't taken a hit in a year. He's practiced.
Yeah.
But okay, so do you think like you see Teddy getting activated and it's Bradford, Teddy, Keenum, or because Keenum is so elite now, do you see? That wasn't a joke. I don't know what you guys are laughing for.
I can't hear Keenum and elite in the same sentence and not laugh.
You're gonna hear it, especially after this weekend.
I do not think. I mean, I'm still going to go with the opinion that Teddy isn't going to play this year.
I hope not.
I believe Sam is going to come back healthy, and I'm not trying to be too.
Will he dress? Will he dress?
No, I don't think.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Well, not
as long as Bradford's healthy and Keenum's healthy, I don't think they're going to dress Teddy. I think they're just going to let him practice and get back up to speed in terms of taking reps and that kind of stuff. I don't see them dressing a third quarterback and having to take.
Well, what do they do with Kyle? What do they do with Kyle Sloter then too?
They should start Kyle Sloter because our QB depth chart is amazing. I mean, Kyle Sloter. We all know Kyle Sloter just waiting to get in there. As soon as he gets in, we're gonna have a 4-way QB battle, and it's gonna be crazy.
And then I can sign Kaepernick and make it 5.
Oh boy,
Not going there.
I just don't see this as a team that's going to put 3 quarterbacks out there on a Sunday when Zimmer likes to rotate cornerbacks, likes to rotate defensive linemen, when injuries at offensive line are an issue. I just don't see there being 3 guys, especially if it's Bradford and Keenum.
See, here's my thing though. Like this injury Sam Bradford has, from what I can tell, is it not arthritis? Like I'm pretty sure it's arthritis. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I don't know, Dr. Sam. Can you?
Isn't it though? Because he has no cartilage in his knee, so the bones are rubbing up against each other. That is arthritis.
So not if you trust the official team statement, which is actually okay. So then who knows? Then it could be anything. If you trust that it's a bone bruise, and the only reason I know this is because Zone Coverage hired a guy who is like an orthopedic surgeon or a doctor or something to write about injuries. Very interesting. You should go check it out. He wrote about the bone bruise, or learned what a bone bruise was. It's actually in the bone, some of the fibers, very, very tiny fibers in the bone have broken. So that essentially releases blood, crushes blood vessels, and that's what makes the bruise. But it's a very, almost like a stress fracture in a way.
It's like a really deep bruise, right?
Basically, yeah. It's technically a bruise on the bone, which is also technically a slight break in the bone. So the explanation I got was not that was due to the fact that there's no cartilage in his knee. I think that would be a different issue. Now, the fact that he went down to talk to Dr. James Andrews and get a second opinion, I think may indicate it's a little more than they're letting on.
No, but I thought
it has been confirmed. Like Andrew said that it was a bone bruise, but
yeah,
okay.
Like then why is he wearing a brace? And like because there's no need to wear a brace, right? If for that.
Well,
no, but apparently it's just all a pain management thing, and bone bruises are extremely painful. So if a brace would stabilize the joint and make it less painful during practice, I could see them doing that.
Yeah, it's like spraining an ankle and trying to put pressure on a sprained ankle. It makes a big difference when you wear a.
I don't know. I just think brace. Like an injury inside the bone would it wouldn't matter if you're putting pressure on it. You know, like I don't know. I guess I don't know what a bone bruise feels like.
Well,
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, Sam, as far as how you know all this. I mean, you're completely bypassing the fact that you're a doctor.
I am the authority on all this. So, no, I think, Drew, it would depend on the location of the bruise, and if the bruise is in or near the joint, it would be extremely painful every time you drop back or something like that, because it's rubbing up against cartilage or tendons
or bone.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and he's probably got a lot of scar tissue in that knee too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a jumble down there.
Go ahead, Dr. Sean Borman.
How do you treat that, Sam?
Oh,
you don't.
Time. Yeah, you don't. Drew is correct. Just time.
Time is the only thing that heals that.
Unfortunately, yes, and
But
that's why
that doesn't even heal it though. Like it's one of those, like, from what I've heard and read and seen, that it just flares up randomly.
Some guy in the chat just asked why everyone looks half awake, which is super fair.
What? Because we're talking bone bruises.
I'm ready to go.
Super.
We are recording this at night.
I'm just going to say this. I'm just getting one more thing. So if we can't trust, it's either one or the other, right? Like if we can't trust the team report on Sam, why should we trust their report on Teddy or anybody else? Like I don't think the Vikings have a track record of being transparent when it comes to injuries.
Yes. My answer
okay. From what I've understood is that did the team, or I feel like the team confirmed or whatever the report of the bone bruise, right?
Yeah, that's confirmed.
The reports for Teddy have been through Mike Florio and through Doogie. I don't think the team has really said much on Teddy, as far as I know.
Well, I'm saying when he was originally injured, and they came out and said there was no damage. This is what happened, non-contact. Like, you know, there's always going to be speculation because they're so tight-lipped about injuries in general.
All right. Well, none of us really know. None of us are actually doctors. So let's move on from this topic well, I'm sorry, Sam. You're working on getting your medical license right now. You're not quite there yet. If you guys haven't seen the latest Bump and Run, you got to go check it out because it's hilarious. That's on the VT YouTube channel.
Yes.
Sam outdid himself. So let's talk about our second favorite thing to talk about, the offensive line. I don't know. What do you guys think about the offensive line so far? Like specifically, I guess I want to talk about Nick Easton. I think overall the O-line has looked good. Mike
Gonna go right to the weakest link, Brett.
Mike Remmers says, well, this is a question we got from Twitter, Purple Rain TV. He wanted to know what should or what can the Vikings do about him, because he has been pretty bad, and he's definitely been a weak link along the offensive line. Maybe even the weakest after the game Remmers just had this past week. So I don't know. Are you guys concerned about the O-line? Should we do anything about Nick Easton? Or Sam, go ahead. Ham
just real quick. I know I was talking before, but okay, yes, he's been not great, whatever. They're still second in total offense through 3 weeks. It's like, I know we all want every position to be a Pro Bowler. Ain't going to happen, especially when we're coming from this atrocity of an offensive line that last year was. So, yeah, Nick Easton hasn't been great. Guess what? The line as a whole has been pretty good. We're just going to have to live with some guys not being awesome. And I think the more time Nick Easton has to play, to start, to mold and meld in with this offensive line, the better he's going to be, the better they're all going to be. The fact that this is a completely rebuilt offensive line, and they've already been pretty goodish, I think is a net win for this team.
So how many sacks, does anyone know off the top of their head how many sacks we've allowed through 3 games? 2 sacks, huh?
I think it's 2. It's 2 or 3.
I think
Zero last game.
One each game, or one each of the first 2 games, and then 0 last week.
Well, you know, another point, because we talked about on the last round or a couple round tables ago, is look at the guy that Easton's replacing. You know, he's out with a pec injury. Alex Boone with the Cardinals.
Is Alex Boone out already?
Yeah, I mean, so there's things that we can't
predict.
Probably
a lingering pec injury from his time with the Vikings, given how our history with pec injuries.
Right?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how he's been. So he's not even playing?
Well, he played last night, but he had a pec injury and got knocked out. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think with the offensive line you can ride the hot hand and say someone's playing bad, so let's replace him with Jeremiah Searles or move Joe Berger to the other side. I think they're just going to let him play and get his lumps and work through it. Because if you look, I'm bringing up PFF, but if you look, he had like a 20-point grade in week 2, and then through 3 weeks he's at 40. So, you know, the average is bumping him up a little bit. So I would be hopeful that he is getting better, and it's just going to take time for him to adjust to being a starter. I don't know.
I don't think there's anything you can do, right? Like, he's not playing well, but we've talked a bit about how there's not really any depth along the offensive line. So what are you going to do if you replace Nick Easton? I mean, I don't really think there's anything you can do. So I agree. I think you just leave him, let him get some more reps. Hopefully he improves. Anyone else want to say anything else on this topic? O-line in general, or Nick Easton, or are we feeling good about Reef and Remmers?
Yes.
You should be. I mean, everyone should be feeling good about the offensive line in its entirety through, 3 weeks now? I mean, exactly what Sam just said. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. There's not going to be it's not going to be a perfect offensive line 1 year into the rebuild. You're getting borderline perfection out of Riley Reif through 3 weeks. He's been exceptional. Mike Remmers just tossed a shutout last week. I mean, what more do you really need from all these guys? Pat Elflein's getting better on the fly. Joe Berger has been, a dad out there, stable, doing his thing. I mean,
always there.
I'm sorry that Nick Easton hasn't been great, but overall, I mean, the unit, you judge offensive lines typically as a unit as opposed to individually. And as a unit, this has been, it hasn't been a liability, and it actually isn't even one of the worst units in the league anymore. If you look at other teams now, I mean, Seattle is literally a bad team because of their offensive line. And the Vikings are stable. It's not that bad. So I can live with that 1 year into a rebuild for sure.
The Vikings were bad last year because of their offensive line, like Seattle is now. And, I mean, look at the difference in what Pat Shurmur is calling on offense from last year to this year, and this year in 3 games.
What he can get away with calling in the first place. Drew.
Yeah. Last year, all he did was throw, for the most part, I guess, 5 passes 5 yards past line of scrimmage or something like that. And now the Vikings are third in the league in explosive play percentage of plays 15 yards or better. Behind the Rams and Patriots, they are 4th in 20-plus yard plays, or excuse me, they're 4th in 20-plus yard plays and 2nd in 40-plus yard plays. Pat Shurmur he said the offense would be explosive, and it is, and I think that's largely due to the offensive line.
I read a really good article on the line online this week about that. Actually, it was on the line. It was on the I believe it was on VikingsTerritory.com.
I've heard of that website.
Drew Mahold production, the Skull Scale. Go check it out. Great Pat Shurmur breakdown about how none of us believed in him, self included.
Sean, anything to add on this topic before we move on?
The offensive line is a big reason why the Vikings are number 2 in total offense right now. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And totally along with Sam and Austin's point, let him develop together. He's going to have his growing pains. He's only 25 years old. Elflein's 23. Let them grow together.
I agree. All right, so sorry, go ahead, Drew. One more thing?
Oh, no, I was agreeing with Sean. I was trying to give a cool...
Gotcha. That was pretty cool.
But it wasn't very cool, no.
Points.
That was cool, man. All right, so let's talk about everyone's favorite person to hate for some reason.
Adrian Peterson?
No.
Mike Evans?
No, we already talked about Mike Evans. On the
Trae Waynes.
Trae Waynes.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about Trae Waynes. We've talked about him a couple times on the past few shows because he's had some rough games, primarily because he's been beaten long on a couple plays and had a defensive pass interference that resulted in a big gain for the Steelers. How do you feel about his performance after the Bucs, guys? Bounced back, had an interception. What are you thinking? Where are we at with Trae Waynes? I feel like there's still a lot of hate out there. Do you guys still hate Trae Waynes?
Brett,
yes.
He had an interception, but it wasn't even by his own doing.
Right.
I mean, the ball got thrown to him.
Yeah, Winston gifted that one to him. So, I mean, he shouldn't.
That's how all interceptions work.
That's how all interceptions work. I mean, no one talks that
Andrew
Sandero's interception was gifted, that Harrison Smith's interception was gifted. They're all gifted.
Yeah, that one was kind of a gift.
Yeah.
That one in the triple coverage.
Yeah,
that was the worst play Winston did all day.
It was a gift, but
right.
You got to expect. Automatically, Trae Waynes isn't right next to Deshaun Jackson down the field. Automatically, he was beat. I mean, hey, it resulted in an interception. Back to Sam's point about the offensive line. The Vikings are 2-1 and have the second best offense. So it's not always about how you get there; it's about the end result.
I like this comparison you're drawing of Nick Easton on the offensive line to Trae Waynes in the secondary. I like that.
Wait, why do you like that?
Because
the secondary as a whole is playing well.
You can admit that Waynes is the weakest link or is technically still bad right now, but the unit as a whole is playing well. The unit as a whole is playing well, so it really doesn't matter.
I feel like he's getting so much heat, right? And would you guys agree that outside of 2 plays, he's performed relatively well? Or
yes.
No?
I will like 4 plays
for this.
I mean, and also we're not even talking about how great he's been in run support, right? I mean, I mean, I think I saw something. We keep citing PFF, and then we always bash them as well. By the way, the road. I don't even know if we want to jump into the Rhodes ranking on PFF, but that's just absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I think I saw them, say something. He's like the #1 cornerback in the league right now for run stopping. No one talks about that, right? All we talk about are these 2 plays that he's gotten beat on, and I feel like he's been very serviceable otherwise as a #2 cornerback on this team. And I feel like even when he has a great game, I'll just even say a good game, he still can't get any love from people. And all of the people that were begging for Tremaine Brock to come in and be the savior for this team, I didn't see any of them after the Bucs game. They all went missing.
Okay, way too early on Brock. I mean,
are you sure, Sam? Because he was supposed to start against the Bucs.
He's been on the team for like 3 hours.
Oh, I know, but I mean, the Vikings.
He wasn't brought in. He was not brought in to supplant Trae Waynes.
Are you sure? Because that's what everyone said.
Yes. No, that was the official
Wayne's
word.
Insurance. Wayne's Insurance. That's what he was.
The official word out of Vikings.
Or excuse me.
It was for
okay. No, you're right. You're right. I was thinking. I got mixed up. It was
right.
Kenzie Alexander Insurance. Yep.
Right. So with Waynes, Brad, I don't agree that he's played solid. I think he's been so-so this year. Maybe I think it's been more than just 2 plays. But he's gonna see a lot of balls. Like he's just gonna see a lot of balls thrown his way. There's no way around it. And I really like Austin's comparison that he made to the offensive line of Nick Easton. We'd love Waynes to be Xavier Rhodes. He's not. And by the way, Waynes in year 3, it took Xavier till about the end of year 3 to be Xavier. So this is a complicated system for corners. It's very difficult. It takes time in Zimmer's scheme. I think Waynes has shown enough. Again, what else are you going to do? You're not going to start Brock there because at least not now. I don't know that he's going to be better than Trae Waynes. He may be comparable at some point. But Waynes is your investment. Stay the course, America. Stay the course.
I think something needs to be said about this whole, well, he was a first-round pick. Doesn't matter anymore. I don't care what round you were drafted. Doesn't matter what round Stefon Diggs was drafted.
Marcus Peters, Austin.
I'm getting to Marcus Peters. So the whole thing with Marcus Peters, he's not Marcus Peters, so he's not good. I mean, again, these conversations require some context. I saw some stat that he only faces a #1 receiver 35% of the time. Marcus Peters is not an Xavier Rhodes, no matter how good he is. They're just not the same type of player. So you're looking at Trae Waynes, who's getting this volume of targets. One, because I think people frame it wrong. People say the team's game plan was to target Trae Waynes. No, it's probably to avoid Xavier Rhodes. And he's getting a volume because of that. And I think the narrative just needs to shift a little bit from, Trae Waynes is allowing a lot of catches. He's getting exposed in coverage. I would argue he's holding up pretty well given how much he sees every game. Hasn't missed a tackle all season. Is #1 cornerback in run support. Gave up 2 long balls, but is generally in the right position. I think Mike Zimmer really trusts him.
I think it's okay to say that he's been really, really good in run support and is really good at tackling, but also say that his coverage has left a lot to be desired for the most part.
But do you feel that way overall, or do you feel that it's just been a few plays?
It's not something that just happened. It's not like it's like a one-play wonder, where he just gives up a 56-yard pass to Tommy Lee Lewis or something, whatever that guy's name is, if he's a person. And then, then the next game against the Steelers, he gets rocked twice.
He's got a couple penalties too, really bad penalties.
He's still getting beat on those 10-yard slants.
There is one play, I want to say it was against Pittsburgh, where he was beaten so bad over the top that he just dove. It was just like, hell, I'm just gonna dive, see what happens. And it was a good play at that It was flagged from 40 yards away. It was the most obvious pass interference that I've seen in years.
I felt a little differently about that play.
No, it was a very bad play. It was a horrible play.
I thought it was within a millisecond of being a great play. He just got there slightly too early.
It would have been a really lucky great play.
Yeah.
He got beat, right? But that's
why would have been lucky. That's my question. He tried to time up knocking the ball out of the receiver's grasp.
He wasn't even close though.
Because he was guessing.
But it's not lucky.
You're guessing when the ball's going to get there.
But it's not lucky.
He didn't turn his head around, so he's just guessing. That's all he's doing.
It's not
lucky
like
though, Superman.
It's not lucky if one of the things that makes Trae Waynes who he is elite speed, right?
No, it's not. I'm not talking about the speed. He didn't turn his head around at all because he was used to that. So he was trying to get back there, and just luckily time.
He was beaten and just tried really hard at the last second, and it was a clear pass interference. Like that's not how you play cornerback. I'm sorry, that's not how you play cornerback. Like that's just like it's just he hasn't been good in coverage. Like, and that's fine. We could say that. And it's okay for people to understand that he's just a number 2 cornerback and he doesn't need to be elite. That's what people need to just get, is that he's not Xavier Rhodes. Like, that's fine with me. He doesn't need to be Xavier Rhodes, but he also needs to be competent.
The comparisons
he has been incompetent on multiple places here, and that can't happen. If he can just not get beat over the top, then yes, all of this is fine because his run support is elite, like you guys have been saying, and he covers, all right. Like at the position, if you only allow 50% of catches at the cornerback position, you're a Hall of Famer. So if he could just be a little bit closer to that mark as opposed to the 95% catch rate that he's sitting at right now, we'd be fine with Trae Waynes. I think that a lot of people would shut up about him.
All right. Well, I just feel like it's been a little unfair. And
he's definitely the whipping boy. I mean, there's no way around that.
I mean, and we always do this as a fan base, right? Like, we latch on to one guy.
We need one.
Again, it's fair to say he's the whipping boy, and it's fair to say that he's really, really good against the run. But he messes up a lot in coverage. That's just the way it is. And
I feel like he has been average in coverage. I do not feel like he's been horrendous. I feel like a few plays have skewed our perspective, and I get it, right? Like those plays are important.
Well, he gave up 9 of 10 for 100-something yards against the Saints and 150 passer rating, and then against the Steelers, he allowed a touchdown and then 2 long plays.
Yeah,
let's check PFF.
Get out of here with your facts.
They have Xavier Rhodes. Case closed. He's elite.
Yeah, he's higher than. Is that what you just said, Sam? He's higher than Rhodes on PFF.
Yeah,
that's all we need.
Alexander and Newman are all higher than Rhodes.
That's enough for me. I'm ready to move on.
All right.
I think this conversation would be about Sendejo if Sendejo didn't have a good game.
Ooh.
We haven't really whipped Sendejo too much this season, have we?
No, but we used to.
It's because
he's been the most average player of all time for the last 2 years. He's just doing his job. He's just going out there and playing football, guys. That's what Andrew Sendejo's been doing for 2 years now.
Which,
seriously,
thank God that he got to that level. That makes this defense so different. But him coming from what he was to now just being average and solid, that makes all the difference in the world, in my opinion.
Right. Get Trae Waynes there.
Yeah. Right. Let Harrison Smith and Xavier Rhodes do their thing, and the other guys be average. We'll be fine.
Growing pains.
Period. That's analysis right there.
Leave Trae Waynes alone. It's going to be fine. All right, let's talk about our elite wide receiver core. Right now, we got Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen just terrorizing opposing defenses. They're number 2 and 3 in the NFL in receiving yards, behind the one and only Antonio Brown. I want to ask you guys, does Minnesota have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL right now? Go. Who wants to start?
No.
Drew, no.
No, because
tell me why.
I think we're basing this off of two games against lackluster defenses. So let's not jump to that conclusion. But
better.
Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant. That's one. Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. That's probably 2.
Oh, those 2 guys that got 12 yards Sunday night.
Those 2 guys that are better than Diggs and Thielen, yeah.
You can say that about Diggs and Thielen.
I'm just playing. I got you, man. I'm just messing with you.
And then, I still think Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders have an argument.
How about Taylor Gabriel and Julio Jones?
I would say Mohamed Sanu and Julio Jones have an argument.
Wrong.
What about Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Deshaun Jackson is 5'5", 120, and Deshaun Jackson's not going to catch a slant over the middle and get hit by a linebacker.
Unless
Hold on.
Trae Waynes.
I would disagree with the Falcons' take. I think they're better than that core. I think.
No, they have an argument. I don't think they. I'd still pick the Vikings there. But
all right. So what about top 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a top.
They're right in that conversation. I mean, how many combinations do we just list right there?
Well,
Like
I
4?
think we had like 4 or 5. So OBJ, Brandon Marshall, Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant.
Oh yeah, there's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, we said no. Amari Cooper,
No.
Michael Crabtree, we said yes.
Maybe
I think someone said Emmanuel.
Arguably.
I don't think Emmanuel Sanders and
There's an
Demaryius-
argument.
Demaryius
There's an
Thomas. I think it's pretty close, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
they haven't been great this year, but those are two pretty good
Jordy and
players.
Devontae.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Jordy is
Not
so
on this
washed.
vidcast.
No.
Don't
no.
Austin.
God.
Did you say Jordy is so? Did you
Jordy's
just hashtag
washed?
washed Jordy Nelson?
That is the
Washed?
hottest take. That was the hottest take on the show in a long time.
Are you kidding?
Jordy
You
Nelson's
think
washed.
Jordy Nelson is so washed, dude? Can
Okay.
hardly run.
Let's flash back here. Let's flash back to
I don't care
16,
about last
2016. Let's flash back. Jordy Nelson has 154 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Hashtag
Listen.
washed.
Anquan Bolden was washed for like 5 years and still beat defenses. I mean, it's fair to
Because he's
say.
good. Because he wasn't washed.
Okay, well, I'm just full of bad takes.
I think
tonight,
maybe we
so-
need to define washed. Can we define washed?
Adrian Peterson.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
Then it's definitely-
Is Jordy Nelson
got you,
to
I got
Adrian
you.
Peterson's level of just not playing at all anymore?
Yeah, if that's our definition, I got to agree with Drew.
No,
He's still the number one option on the Packers offense. And the
no, I
Packers-
think Devontae Adams is.
What?
What? Come on, Austin. I
Okay.
try not to watch the Packers too, but Jordy Nelson's still elite.
I like
Mike-
to watch Packers. I like watching Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
Mike,
He's fun.
Wow.
So
He's
my
fun.
question about this wide receiver thing: now, when Michael Floyd returns, do they have the best 3 deep in the league?
don't need 3
no, they
receivers.
have the best 3 deep right now because Treadwell's there. Obviously.
Laquan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from Crabtree. I don't really know what's going to happen with that
Maybe
third wide
Floyd.
receiver spot once he comes back. I'm sorry, Crabtree. Michael Floyd, not
Crabtree.
Michael Crabtree.
Gotcha.
I don't really know what's going to happen with those two once he comes back between Treadwell and Floyd.
Jarvis, we got a comment here from Lucas Richen.
Oh,
He said
love that.
Jarvis Landry and Devontae Parker. Good
That's
one
a
to add to the
sneaky
mix.
good one.
Sneaky good one. Sneaky
They're
good one.
close.
yeah.
I
It's,
don't know that I'd put Parker over either Diggs or Thielen right now.
no, they're on the rise, but
Yeah.
But Jarvis Landry is very good.
Okay, here's
Landry's
another one.
legit.
Here's another one. Would you put Diggs as a top 5 receiver alone in the NFL right now?
Yes.
This year?
No. This year, yes. But
Well, that's what I'm
probably
talking about.
10-ish.
Like if
Well,
if I'm doing like a fantasy draft right now of like picking a receiver, I'm not picking Diggs in the top 5.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Why not?
Julio, OBJ, Mike Evans, AJ Green.
AJ Green's been awful this year.
It's Andy Dalton's fault.
No, he has not.
Let's just be real.
He has been awful this
yeah,
year. I'm not
those
saying
guys
he's
are all
awful in
legit.
general. I'm
Des
just saying-
Bryant is still good.
No.
I put Diggs over Bryant at this point.
I would too. I would put
Really?
He's close. Yeah. Just because I think Bryant slowed down because of the injuries.
Yeah,
Guys, lay off the purple
I agree with
Kool-Aid.
you. I agree with you guys.
You're drafting for last
Drew.
season right now, Drew. Is what
True,
you're
but
doing.
Dez,
I'm not
Dez
jumping to
is
conclusions
wildly
after 2
inconsistent.
games. That's what I'm doing.
Dez never played with
Yeah.
a bad quarterback, and he's been wildly inconsistent the last 2 years.
Yeah, Bryant hasn't been good in a while.
I still
I
think
mean, he's been good.
but-
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's been good, but he hasn't been elite, top 5 in a
I
while.
think
Diggs
I
has
think
been elite.
Dez is a player that's still good and teams still scheme for, but I don't think they're as worried about stopping as, Zeke Elliott or Cole Beasley out of the slot. Like I feel like Cole Beasley at this point in his career is more of a matchup problem than sticking a number one cornerback on Dez Bryant. That's not a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take.
That's
Extremely hot take.
You know
You're
what?
a full one tonight.
I mean,
I'm out of.
let's go back again. Let us go back again. Thursday Night Football last year, Dallas Cowboys. Des
Yes.
Bryant torches Harrison Smith for like a
Yes.
55-yard pass. And then he catches a quick pass and stiff arm Xavier Rhodes underground and scores.
Your
you know what?
worldview of these players is limited to Vikings games.
I am excited to read Belial's burning takes later this week.
I
We should
don't
just-
know what.
No, but he's not going to include these because these aren't burning takes to him.
that's
Austin,
correct.
own your takes.
I own my takes. I don't know. I'm out of it tonight. I can't
You're not
even-
out of it. Shut up.
Man, so let me just say this. I think it's been a really weird season for 3 games. No one expected the Vikings to put up 400 yards of offense
That's a very good
and
point.
basically
Twice.
basically target 3 players: Stefon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook. Where's Kyle Rudolph been? Where's the third wide receiver been? No one else is really getting targets. So I think I'm trying to get with Drew's point here. Our view of Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen is skewed a bit. Now, they were really good last year, too, in a pretty bad offense. And I think over the course of time, you're going to see that they may not be the best wide receiver duo in the league, but at least they're going to be the most consistent and productive. Doesn't mean they're the best.
That's fair.
It is intoxicating looking at those graphics and seeing them 2 and 3 behind Antonio Brown right now.
Love it.
It's probably making me buy in a little too much.
Yes. Sean, what say you about this topic?
I think they're one of the top 3 duos in the NFL right now. They're versatile. You can line them up anywhere on the field. They can block. Not many receivers can do that. And you get, with the size variation, you get some red zone production out of Thielen. Diggs has actually got he's second in the NFL with 4 touchdowns.
He leads receiving touchdowns, actually.
That's a new career high for Stefon Diggs, 4 receiving touchdowns.
Sean,
like Brett said, they're on the rise.
Sean, is Stefon Diggs a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL right now?
With the quarterback situation, I can't say.
You mean GOAT Case Keenum and GOAT Sam Bradford? What do you mean quarterback situation?
What does that make Teddy Bridgewater then? If you think those,
I told you they're all goats. It's a 3-way QB battle.
It's like a rat.
A rat.
A rat.
But
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I do think it's interesting about the quarterback situation because, like Drew brought up Denver. I think if you put, for example, if you put even a Phillip Rivers or a Ben Roethlisberger there, we're talking about Demaryius Thomas being like, is he the best wide receiver in the NFL? Because he'll just tear it up. I mean, the guy with Peyton Manning was.
That's what people said when Peyton. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
So then the opposite of that is, what does it say about Diggs that he's doing this with Case Keenum?
I think a lot of it has to do with Pat Shurmur. I think we're finally at a point. I think Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen are playing in an offense suited to what they do, and I think Pat Shurmur's finally doing a good job of scheming them open, creating opportunities. And Drew, I know you talked about this, but I think that they're benefiting from an offense that works for them. It's not like Seattle, who's got Doug Baldwin, who's probably a better receiver than both of them, who he went off the other night, but is not going to consistently get the looks that he should because, say, their offensive line is bad. I think just situationally, Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen are in the right positions, and it's finally working out.
I think Thielen in the slot is a big help, too.
I don't know, guys. Yep. I'm pretty close to putting Diggs in that top 5. I might be on the purple Kool-Aid right now, but
you are.
I think he's close. I'm with.
There's not a lot of guys I'm putting ahead of him right now.
Let's put it this way: if he keeps playing like this through 10 games, that's going to be hard to deny.
Sure. Yeah, So I guess I'm not looking to the future, and I'm talking right now. I guess based on the production of this year and what we've seen so far out of some of these other guys that we would normally put ahead of him.
Let's make sure Stefon Diggs stays healthy.
Sure.
Right. That's because what was our biggest question mark coming into the season, right? None of us coming into the season said that Stefon Diggs couldn't be an elite receiver. We all just basically said he could be really good, but he needs to stay healthy for 16 games. And the durability thing, it seems like he's doing well this year.
I will say, I think somebody sent this out on Twitter like a few days ago, but like Stefon Diggs' numbers when he's not on the injury report are like astronomical. Like when he's not listed on the injury report in some fashion, like it's absurd how productive he's been. So,
yeah, I mean he's been better this year. They've asked a couple of different reporters have asked him like, you seem more durable this year. Do you feel better? And like it was through 3 weeks. I mean, through 3 weeks he said like I feel great. So if he stays healthy, I mean, I'm not putting anything past him, but let's make sure he stays healthy first, right?
I'm with you.
To be smart on this one and not kind of overreact to 3 games, which, relatively speaking, is a pretty small sample size. Sure. Let's see a little bit more.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's interesting how quickly we're forgetting about that Pittsburgh game. Like.
Yeah,
but the Pittsburgh game is almost an anomaly to me, right? I mean, I know it's hard to have an anomaly.
Are anomalies.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. It's hard to have an anomaly with a 3-game sample size because the sample size isn't big enough to say one is so much different. But I mean, you had Keenum becoming the quarterback a day or two before the game, in Heinz Field against a very solid Steelers team.
He was going to start the whole week.
Huh?
In that one. I feel like he was. At least he had a pretty good idea he was going to start that week.
Yeah.
But even with that game included, even with the Pittsburgh game, their numbers are tremendous.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like if the Vikings were average against the Steelers, they're like easily the number one offense in the league right now.
That's true. They were very bad.
Like that was a really bad, like an ugly game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see things even out. We're not going to see the production from Thielen and Diggs as Kyle Rudolph becomes a factor, because I think he eventually will. I mean, he's been a non-factor for 3 games. How many balls has he caught? 4, maybe?
He has a touchdown. But
yeah, he has that one touchdown.
He has it. Yeah, I forgot about that touchdown. Man, just move on to the next topic. I'm just gonna.
No, that's fine. You didn't say he didn't have a touchdown. It's not. You didn't say anything wrong. You just didn't remember the touchdown. You're fine.
Who cares?
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna hit you guys with one that wasn't on the show notes really quick, just because I think I saw it on Twitter and it was kind of interesting to me. And this is going to be our last question before we wrap up and move on to the Detroit preview. All right. So do you guys remember your record predictions before the season?
Yeah.
Everyone remembers their record predictions? Okay. I just want to revisit it really quick. I want you to say your previous record prediction and whether or not there's been any change at this point based on what we've seen so far, okay? So, Austin, what was your previous record prediction?
I had 10-6 at the end of the year, and I had 1-2 after 3 games.
Oh, okay. So what's your prediction now? So it hasn't changed? Wait. So what's your prediction now?
Probably 10-6. I'll keep it the same.
Same? Okay, no movement. Drew?
I was 9-7 before the year. I'll stick with 9-7.
Oh, you guys suck. Sorry, I love you. Sean?
Don't come to me because mine's the same as Drew.
9-7. This is a really exciting segment. I decided to do that segment. Sam?
It's quite the impromptu.
I can't remember exactly. It was either 10-6 or 11.
It was your article.
Yeah. I forgot. Too much drinking. So if it was 11-5,
what segment this is? This is good live TV here.
If it was 11-5, I would like to change it to 10-6. However, if I did predict 10-6, I will change it to 11-5.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. All right, BJ.
10.5 wins.
BJ?
I said 10-6, and I still think 10-6.
Cool. Fun times. Next, Detroit. Detroit comes to US Bank Stadium Sunday morning or Sunday at noon. I want to know what you guys think about this game. Let's start off with some key matchups that you're excited to see. What do you guys think? Who wants to kick us off here?
I'll kick us off.
Okay. I want to start with Sean because he raised his hand and we don't hear from Sean.
Well,
Austin.
I'll go with the one that's hot right now is the Everson Griffin Greg Robinson matchup. Ooh. You know, Grifferson talking smack, saying Robinson's lazy, gets beat to the inside. So maybe it's a head game thing, like the FSU cornerbacks. I don't know, but that should be a very interesting matchup, especially the way that Griffin's been playing.
Greg Robinson's also bad too. That's really
I was going to say
really key factor. He has not been good.
71 out of 72 on PFF.
Yep.
He hasn't been good since he was drafted 2nd overall. I mean, he's one of those. Is Greg Robinson not like one of those like few bad pieces from which class was that? 13, 11 maybe? 11, 13.
I'm gonna look it up now because you were making me curious.
Was that Khalil's class?
No. He was I can't remember. He was drafted 2nd in the class. It might have been 2011.
2014.
14?
Oh God, I was way off. My bad. Who was he drafted by?
So he was
the Rams, right?
The Rams.
Redemption.
He was a tackle in college, and he ended up playing guard, right, for the Rams, and then they moved him back to tackle, and now he's a tackle for the Lions. I mean, the Vikings came out looking like Rhodes, smelling like roses here with Riley Reif.
Mm-hmm.
So,
good point.
Okay, so I like it, Sean. What are some other matchups you guys are looking at? Austin, you had some.
Anthony Barr and Eric Kendrick against Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah. I think that's going to be a important matchup to watch just because Matt Stafford's the kind of quarterback who's not going to stay in the pocket, and it's not so much about losing contain. It's more, finding these guys in coverage and not letting them slip through holes in the zone or, get away from your grasp when he does slip the pocket. So seeing if this is a Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks type game from the two of them.
So do you think Matt Stafford poses problems for this defensive line? Just because of what you mentioned as far as his ability to get away?
He's the kind of guy that makes those stupid plays that make you scream at the television because they're like the Russell Wilson
Aaron Rodgers
snap. I'm not going to say that name on the show, but those kind of plays that really piss you off as a fan because they shouldn't happen. So I guess my only concern would be he escapes the pocket. Yeah, I think it's a problem.
Okay. What else? BJ, Sam, Drew, go ahead.
How about the Vikings against the fourth quarter Lions? Is that fair?
Oh,
Because I feel like the Vikings
Very
should
nice.
strategically plan out their game so that they're trailing going into the fourth quarter so that they have a chance because they were like a centimeter roughly from coming back against the Falcons last week and being 3-0.
You should pitch this concept to Zimmer, see if he buys in. I'm sure he'll love it.
It's fair, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there are certain teams that are just way too good in the fourth quarter. The Lions are one of them. So why not just go down and so they don't have this mindset of like I gotta catch up. To get them playing cautious, get them playing with the lead, then you take advantage.
I don't.
Completely sarcastic.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Oh
it
my
was
God,
sarcastic.
yeah, that's
Well, I know,
sarcastic.
but you were keeping a really straight face, and I just wasn't sure if.
Yeah, because I'm a good actor.
Okay, right. All right, BJ, Sam, anything? No.
Xavier Rhodes and Marvin Jones again is always fun. Marvin Jones is horse shit. I always think it's hilarious. I mean, it's happened every single year. I mean, he starts off pretty well and then not so much. I mean, last year Xavier Rhodes held him to 1 catch on 5 yards. He's garbage. I'm excited for that matchup.
Wait, why wouldn't Rhodes be covering Golden Tate?
I don't know because last year he was on Marvin Jones. I don't know. That's my expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
He could very easily be covering Golden Tate, but he was on Marvin Jones last year.
Do you guys see anyone giving Trae Waynes nightmares this weekend?
Well, just Matt Stafford that was going to be kind of my matchup, Stafford versus Trae Waynes, because I think he's going to target him a lot, like quarterbacks have been doing. And either Trae Waynes, Tremaine Brock, depending on how much Brock plays. But I think Stafford is I'm a Stafford fan, and I always have been. I think he's playing very well this season. So
Fair.
My brother made this point the other day. The Lions games seem to be kind of what define the season for the Vikings. Like last year, had they won either of those games, they'd be going to the playoffs. Yeah, and this is a home game, so you have to beat the Lions at home if you're a decent team in the NFC North. You got it. I mean, whatever's going to happen in Detroit, whatever, but you got to beat them at home. So this will be an interesting one.
That's a really great point from your brother. Where can people go to hear more from your brother?
I don't know. We had technical difficulties on the old Minnesota Sports Section podcast this week. His computer burst into flames, so I'll have to get back to you on that, Brett.
Like literally?
Maybe taking some liberties.
All right, so we had a question from Adam West on Twitter. He says, how do we stop the Lions' quick passing game? We are hesitant to blitz, and pass rush isn't getting home often. So I feel like Austin kind of touched on that a little bit. And I've just kind of had the same concern about the Vikings defensive line, right? Like Everson Griffin has gotten there a couple times. But outside of him, I feel like we've gotten close and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but we've had a really hard time kind of sealing the deal. And a quarterback like Matthew Stafford might be able to exploit that a little bit more than someone like Jameis Winston. So to Adam West's question, what can the Vikings defense do to kind of neutralize that quick passing game? Drew.
Can I quick say, I think the in their 2 wins, the Vikings have been leading quite a bit, and they've kind of sat back in that not prevent defense, but like that quarters like cushiony defense where they're rushing 3 or 4 every time. They're not willing to blitz because they don't need to, So I think that's part of the reason that you're not seeing all the pressure, you're not seeing the sack numbers up. But that's kind of a quick explanation, in my opinion, of why we're not seeing the glorified sack numbers up.
Because the defense has looked a little different, right, this year so far? Like, wouldn't you say it seems less aggressive? And I guess that's your point, Drew, is that it's because
and in the Pittsburgh game, they were trailing, and they're just trying to contain Le'Veon Bell to get the ball back. So we're not really seeing the pass rush completely unleashed.
It's more the defense I think the defense is doing a better job in general of clamping teams down. I don't care what I don't care if it's the Saints. Those are all three different types of offenses. They're doing a better job stopping the run. I think they're doing a better job in coverage. Last 5-0 season was an anomaly. You don't force that many turnovers. You don't score that many defensive touchdowns every year. I think this is a lot more normal, and I think I'm of the opinion that the 4-man rush is actually more consistently affecting the pocket than they have in years past. I feel like there's constant pressure in quarterbacks to get rid of the ball. Just because Donnell Hunter isn't producing, well, you've got a guy in Everson Griffin who has, 4 sacks already, who's wrecking tackles. So the defense,
I think they're buying more into the pressure concept versus the actual sack concept, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you're saying?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
It's like instead of getting a sack on every play, or excuse me, instead of getting a sack like at a more consistent rate with that involves you taking more risks, they're accepting getting more pressure on. They're accepting getting pressure on virtually every play and not taking as many risks, which I think is kind of working. Shamar Stefan got a sack. Stefan, that's his first one ever. So something's going right.
I think something to watch too is Jim Bob Cooter. I think has a good idea of what 2016 Zimmer liked to do. That big draw to Abdullah last year was a perfect counter to the double A gap blitz. I don't know if he has Zimmer's number, but I definitely think he understands Zimmer's defense and tendencies and what he likes to do. So maybe this new approach brings something different for the Vikings this game. I'm curious to see kind of what happens in that regard. I don't think they're going to play it aggressively.
Jim Bob.
I think it's a great point, Austin.
Thanks.
I'm with you there. Maybe some
Jordy Nelson still washed.
My goodness sakes. I'm going to bring out the Canon thing for that. Hold on one sec.
There we go.
Yeah, the flash thing, the explosion. Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
Nope, Brett, we lost you.
My bad. That's why you guys were talking over me. I was like, why do these jerks keep talking over me? I was muted. All right, so one more before we move on to predictions for this game. I want to know how you guys think the Vikings O-line matches up against the Lions front seven.
How was that thing?
Yeah, thanks, BJ, for that. Appreciate it. Any thoughts on that? Is there any concern on the O-line about?
I think it's a favorable matchup, especially at home. I think the Lions front seven has looked better, but I'm still not buying into it.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think they play better at home. I think the defense plays better at home too. I think everybody does.
Yeah, they all play better at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Go ahead.
Do we all play better at home?
I don't.
I play better at home.
I'm personally not a road game guy.
I'm a road guy too.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like the atmosphere on the road. Calms me.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's do predictions really quick. So I want to go around and get score predictions for the Lions game. I will start with Sean. Sean, score prediction.
23-21 Lions.
Oh,
Sean, you of all people.
Starting us off negative.
Explain yourself.
Yeesh. I was at the game last year. When Treadwell had his one catch. If Treadwell can become more involved, watch out for him. He could be a sneaky little threat. Watch out for his breakout game. But
wait, is that what you're saying about this game?
Or the fourth quarter Lions are so good, and we have yet to figure them out yet.
Well, Drew has a really great plan to subdue the Lions.
Just go into the fourth quarter down like 17-10.
Yeah.
Get to go.
Losing.
All right. Well, Sean, way to bring the party to a screeching halt. Killing the vibe. Sean, Sam, you got something more positive to say?
I do. 31-27 Vikings. Think the offense is going to look pretty good.
Points.
And think that, I'm a believer in Stafford, but I think he doesn't get it done in the fourth quarter this time because the pressure gets to him.
Okay, BJ?
Not physically.
I'm going to say Vikings win 20-16.
How do they win like that?
Yeah, 20-16.
How do they win?
A couple touchdowns,
Oh.
a couple field goals.
Oh, okay.
They score more than the other team.
Oh, okay.
I hate score predictions. I don't know how they work. I just think the Vikings are going to win. I think they're going to win.
Good enough. Drew?
Slim margin.
I'm very scared of Matthew Stafford. I'll give the Vikings to win, though. We'll go 27-24. I don't know. I think the Vikings win, and it's going to be a close one. But I think the Lions secondary is by far the best that they've seen this year. So.
Okay. Austin?
I don't think it's going to be as close. I think it's going to be 24-14 Vikings. The Lions can't run the ball. They allow 86 yards per game as a defense rushing the ball, so I think Dalvin Cook hits 100. I don't have a lot of faith in the Lions. Matthew Stafford, I get he's a gamer. He came back after throwing his first pass as a pick six in this season, and then has thrown 6-7 touchdowns. I just don't think it's as close as we expect it's going to be. I don't know how good that secondary is. I think Darius Slay is a good player. Who's the other? Diggs?
Glover Quinn, Quandre Diggs.
Yeah.
Diggs is a slot guy, I think.
That Killebrew guy who's lame. I don't know why people
don't
like
they
him.
Don't they have the number one secondary in the NFL right now from a stats perspective or something like that? Did I hear that wrong? I feel like I heard that somewhere.
It's very good.
They're a good sports. They're a good sports team.
Oh, okay.
They're a lame sports team. It's going to be 24-14.
All right, so I just want to make sure all those predictions. That's all assuming Case Keenum's starting, right?
Yep, we're cooking them into a pot.
I'm very scared of predicting 27 points.
Put all those predictions into the pot and cook it out.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for this episode. Next time we see you, we will be recapping the Lions game this Sunday. Shortly after the game, we'll go live. Make sure to join us. Look, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and then you hit the little notification button, you get instant updates to your phone as soon as we go live, as soon as About the Labor podcast is posted, as soon as the Bump and Run is posted, all that good stuff. It'll be instant to your phone. So make sure to do that. And we hope to see you guys next week. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you Sunday, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.